Entaratastar, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kyle Laris, and I apologise infinitely if my microphone dies during this cast. If I do not notice it during subsequent readbacks of the, I end up just uploading them without actually checking the sound quality or anything like that, because I assume the sound quality is going to be fine. But if it's bad, then that's why. So sorry. Yeah. Anyway, this is going to be another PGA Protoss game analysis by Kyle Harris, and today we're going to be looking at Bartlor, who is one of my viewers, and I believe he's in Gold League. Before we watched a Bronze League game, so now I want to step it up a little bit for somebody who is maybe in a higher league, and we're going to have a look at what goes on here. This is a PvP against Phoenix, but we're not going to be focusing on Phoenix that much. I'm going to try and keep away from him as much as it's an allure that he's Protoss as well, and I want to see what's going on, but I'm going to try and keep away from that. I want to see what's going on here. At first, right off the bat there, that chrono boost was a bit too early. You want to throw that chrono boost up as soon as that pylon goes up. There's no point chrono boosting out that 10th drone, otherwise you're just going to clip your chrono boost a little bit. It's a very, very minor issue, to be honest with you. It only gets clipped by just a small amount, but still every little bit of play does count. So we do see a 12 gate up here. Some people prefer 13 gate to be more economical. I'm pretty sure I've said this in my other games, but a 12 gate is also completely fine if you're scared of some kind of early pressure coming along. And we do see quite a lot of minerals being stacked up here. Bartlor isn't producing as many probes as I would like to see. Again, just probes, pylons and probes. Really, really important. And we do see Phoenix doing a nice bit of rallying, and we do see now an assimilator. Normally this assimilator goes down on kind of 14, 15 in a normal kind of build, but seeing as these probes were initially delayed a little bit, it seems that that's gone down a little bit earlier. So now this gateway is up. Normally this gateway goes up for me around 18 or so, 17, 18, and then I grab my cybernetics core straight after. Just a bit of queuing up there, but that's not too much of a problem since queuing up 2 probes is perfectly fine. It's only 50 minerals, and at this point now I would like to see a cybernetics core going down, as he did have the minerals for it. And I do see a pylon in the base of Phoenix, but I'm just going to ignore that for just a second, and we do see this cybernetics core going down now, as well as getting a zealot. That zealot could have been produced whilst the cybernetics core was going, so you actually get your ability to research your warp gates a lot earlier. So I mean, a general rule of thumb for me as a Protoss player is if I don't see any really early pressure coming, I will get my cybernetics core first and then start producing a zealot, so that your cybernetics core is built quicker in essence. I suppose it's not rocket science. I'm not trying to be derogatory in any way. But yeah, if you have these two things building at the same time, it's a lot more efficient in essence. So let's go to this pylon here. This pylon is always a very interesting idea. In fact, I do think this map's sort of imbalanced when you actually spawn in this location, in the sense that this gap here is a lot bigger than this gap here, well, as you can see on the minimap where I'm looking, and also this gap here is a lot bigger than this gap here, really. So I mean, there is a little bit of imbalance in my opinion. Getting a few hits on that probe there and researching the warp gates as well. Bit of wasted chrono boost once again. It's not too it is a big deal when you get into the later stages of this game, but for now in Gold League it's sort of acceptable in inverted commas. I would like to see that chrono boost going down on the warp gates, because getting warp gates, it makes your unit production a lot more efficient. So we really need to keep on top of this probe production. Probes. Now this Spore Crown going to be able to push that probe away, no problemo. Again, a bit more chrono boost waste. You should be really mindful of where your chrono boost is going. Remember, it does last for 20 seconds, ladies and gents. So I always try and plan where I'm putting my chrono boost. It's an important factor that you shouldn't really make mistakes with. So we do see now no production coming out of this second gateway. It's really important to get production out of your unit producing structures as much as possible, unless you are, say, gearing up for an expansion. And that probe almost getting stuck there. In fact, I want to come back to that point very, very soon. I will do. So now, chrono boost being used on the warp gates technology, nice use there. And these 2 gates, as I said, at this point, they're not very useful. You quite easily could have been producing 2 units from these buildings instead of throwing down these 2 gates, because what if, say for example, a big marine push came in now if you were against a Terran, or like a flood of zealots came in, Zerglings came in or whatever, you would just be in a position where you know, you didn't have enough units to fend off this because you've invested your money in gates that aren't even produced yet. So, I mean, we do see a Twilight Council going down now, as well as a robotics bay for Phoenix. No, wrong production tab, sorry about that. And these gateways have just finished, so... what I want to point out right now is the fact that this pylon spread out around Bartlor's base is really good. A lot of players don't do this, and they get punished for it because they end up having drops in the back of their base, or even if you're against the Terran, a factory will land in the back of your base and start producing Hellions, which is terrible for morale as well in comparison to everything. So I wanted to touch on now is the fact that I personally had a ladder game recently, and I made building placement similar to this, but like, say for example, this gate was that way and this gate was that way as well, so that way and that way, and you got units trapped in the buildings and you can't get them out without breaking the buildings. Oh my god, I lost a game because of this, because I didn't have a sentry to force field because of a stupid rally point, and that's horrible. Don't make sure your buildings are like as close together as they possibly can be, with no gaps where units can get trapped, because you will kick yourself on the end of it. It's a horrible, horrible feeling. Anyway, so coming back to the game at hand, we do see now a Twilight Council. I'm sure that Twilight Council already went up. I'm pretty sure it did, but it got cancelled. Maybe? I don't know. But for future reference, you really need to go into the games with a game plan of your own. I mean, scouting and reaction play is all good and everything like that, and he hasn't turned these gateways into... No, I must not focus on Phoenix. Anyway, and Bartlor here at this point, you really should have a game plan going in, so like cancelling the Twilight Council and then reapplying it. I'm not sure if he did actually, maybe I'm going doolally, but it's not as efficient as you would like to. I know it's probably a mistake, and I know you understand it's a mistake and you're kicking yourself for it, but it's not great. So what I'm seeing from most of this at this point is, as we can see, if we go to the Vision tab, Bartlor's making a push in here. It's very nice timing on that push, to be honest, since most of the forces of Phoenix are out here. So going to be able to kill a lot of these probes off at this point. Looking very strong for Bartlor at this point, since he can just force field these units and hold them in position very nicely. Strange force field going down there. I would like to have seen that behind the units, cutting them in half as opposed to behind your units, in effect preventing your zealot from actually retreating. Whopping in a lot more zealots here, and as you can see here, Bartlor has killed a sufficient amount of probes. I'm pretty sure he did throw a few probes down here, but nice use of this pylon here. It's always, you know, good to go for if your opponent doesn't actually scout around their base. You know, I've done it in Diamond a load of times, and it pays off eventually. I mean, it's only 100 mineral investment. You know, in the early stages of games that's a big deal, but late stages of the games it's not such a big deal. So if you can hold off into a later mid-late game and you do have pylons in place like that, of course, yeah, they're more likely to be spotted eventually, but you never know, the investment might pay off. So that being cleaned up very effectively by Phoenix in the end, and we do see though that Bartlor did take out the Nexus, so really nice use of that pylon there by Bartlor, and Phoenix only just realising that that is there, and nicely held off in the front as well. The attack at the front could have been better held off, with proper use of force fields. I mean, he did put the force fields here, but I'm coming back to this point. Having the force field along this line, cutting the units in half effectively, is a really, really, really powerful way of defending anything. In fact, in one of my league games, I'm coming back to my league games a lot, but I had 5 units, and a Terran was moving in with pretty much like 15 Marines, and force fields won me the engagement because I had only 5 units. So that's, you know, the power of force fields. A lot of people do think force fields are overpowered in other races, but, you know, what would we do against early pushes such as that if we didn't have force fields? So anyway, this robotics bay is now up for Bartlor. I'm not sure if it went up before, I can't remember. But, I remember this game. I got so frustrated at this game. Bartlor, my mind is melting. I'm not going to be too hard on you, mate, because you fought a good fight, but I'm going to shout at you at the end. You're going to get a telling off. So Phoenix now just being able to recoup his losses at this point. He does have this Nexus going up, and I'm going into commentary mode as opposed to analysis mode. I would have liked to have seen, at this point, I would have liked to have seen a lot more scouting from Bartlor, from you, if you are watching Bartlor. I would have liked to have seen a lot more scouting. I mean, there would be no reason why you couldn't just send a probe up to the front of your opponent's base in order to be able to see if he was A, making any pushes, or C, or I just skipped straight to C, past B. See his unit composition, and you're going to be forced to cancel this because... Maybe you're going to be forced to cancel this? Yes, you've been forced to cancel it because you didn't have a probe at the front. You didn't know that the push was coming. So had you had a probe near his base, watching for the attack, you would have been able to save this Nexus quite easily by having your units positioned correctly. And now we do see quite a lot of units from Bartlor going down at this point. A big push from Phoenix. And it seems like you really need a Guardian Shield at this point. Guardian Shield. It's a bit too late right now, Bartlor. But, yes, a Guardian Shield would have made this fight a lot easier because he's come in, Phoenix has come in with these fast units coming in. He wouldn't have had any sentries with him at this point because he was having to move at quite a speed, although that being said he could have regrouped here. But the Guardian Shield would have made a lot of difference. It does reduce the damage by 2 to all the units, although this Immortal is going to come in and shoo these units away quite easily since it does do massive damage to 2 Stalkers. So again, what I would like to see from Bartlor at this point is more scouting, even if it's an observer. And we do see a lot of minerals getting stocked up here, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be throwing down that Nexus again, trying to catch up in the economy game here. And we also see Phoenix producing Immortals as well. But yes, we need more scouting, more scouting, because if you'd scout, you would... As I say, you would know when to actually push him. You would know that after you'd had this engagement here with your proxy pylon and things like that, and took out a lot of these probes and this Nexus as well, you were in a position where you could have potentially pushed out with the forces that you had back here and possibly taken the game from that point on. So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit more because there's not much else at this point I can say other than a lot of Chrono Boost saved up on Nexus. Really need to keep on top of your Chrono Boost. Fantastic place to put your Chrono Boost is on these Immortals. You have no idea how fast you can get Immortals out with constant Chrono Boosting. We do see now a big push from Phoenix again, and it seems like going to be doing a lot of damage here, although this Immortal's trapped in the back. Really need to get a nice concave on units in order to be able to make it effective. And I'm just speeding up to get in one video because, again, 2-part videos are a pain in the arse. And we do see now Bartlor is grabbing himself a robotics bay, but I think it's going to be too little too late as this base has been up for a long time. And even Phoenix doing a bit of scouting here with an observer. Again, I'm going to pause it, actually. Oh no, what have I done? I've taken it right back to the start. No. Right, here, this is a push out. Why is this push out happening? You haven't scouted the front of his base. Okay, sure, you took out quite a few of his units which fleed, but you really need to know what is going to be in front of you when you actually attack with this kind of push. So now, as you can see, there's going to be not much you can do at this point. Bartlor has been replayed desync. Wow, what the anyway, this is the end of the replay. Basically, Bartlor GG's at this point because he doesn't have any units. So, what do we take away from this? I'm not pressing quit replay yet because that's... What the hell? I've never seen this before. Yes, so... Basically scouting. I can't remember anything else, just watch the replay back. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. I hope this has been informative to you. As I say, it's a gold level replay, and I will see you guys next time. Please subscribe.